Nothing elevates the flavor and excitement of a dish like a sauce. It's the perfect way to turn a simple meal into a memorable culinary experience. Tonight we'll take a pork tenderloin and saute it in a stainless steel pan. Then we'll deglaze the pan with dry sherry, add in chicken stock and heavy cream with a touch of Dijon mustard to make a luscious French-style sauce, turning an ordinary dish into a culinary masterpiece bursting with flavor. This method works with any meat, and we're using pork tenderloin tonight, but it works with steak, chicken, and seafood. We're using sherry for our sauce tonight, but you could use port wine, brandy, or white wine. Now, since we're making a pork dish, we'll use chicken stock, but if you're making a steak dish, you'd use beef stock. No matter what the meat or liquids are, the basics of this sauce are the same. We'll finish our sauce with a heavy cream and butter, which gives the sauce its smooth and velvety texture. It's a symphony of flavor and excitement in the kitchen tonight. We're making a savory sauce from scratch. It's going to be delicious, so stick around and we'll show you how we make it. My name is Mark Phillips. I've been in the food and beverage business for over 30 years. Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to be in over 10,000 kitchens from around the world. Each week, I travel to a different city and get the opportunity to call on some of the most amazing chefs in the industry. The Kitchen of Chef Mark is a channel dedicated to showing you how you too can make fine dining, restaurant quality food right in your own home. We'll travel together, we'll cook together, and we'll have some fun along the way. Welcome to the Kitchen of Chef Mark. Now let's get cooking. Tonight we're making a savory sauce from scratch. You can elevate the flavor and excitement of any dish with a sauce. The basic method is the same no matter what meats or liquids are used. Tonight's recipe was made with a pork tenderloin, sauteed in a stainless steel pan and deglazed with sherry. We added chicken stock, heavy cream, and Dijon mustard to make a classic French-style sauce. Our mise en place for our sauce is a stainless steel pan or a cast iron skillet, butter or olive oil, a meat of your choice. We're using a pork tenderloin here. A half cup of wine or spirit of your choice. We're using sherry here. A cup of stock of your choice. We're using chicken stock. A half cup of heavy cream, cold butter, salt and pepper to taste, and some optional items which includes onions, garlic, mushrooms, and fresh herbs. We're using shallots, garlic, and rosemary in our sauce tonight. Since our sauce tonight is a French-style mustard sauce, we'll use a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. The first step is to cook the meat. We'll add olive oil and butter to our pan on medium-low heat. For our pork tenderloin, we'll remove the silver skin and excess fat, slice it into medallions, and season it with flour, salt, pepper, and paprika. The pork medallions are cooked for 3 minutes on the top, 3 minutes on the bottom, and a minute for the sides. Once the meat is cooked, we'll place it on a plate to rest while we make our sauce. Your meat does not have to be breaded, and as we stated earlier, you can use pork, chicken, steak, and seafood. This method of making sauce works for any meat. Place the plate of meat into a 170-degree oven to stay warm. Notice the bottom of the pan has pieces of meat, butter, flour, and seasonings. This is the reason that we use a stainless steel pan or a cast iron skillet instead of a nonstick pan. We want bits and pieces of the meat and seasonings to stick to the pan. It will add to the flavor of our sauce. Next, we'll add in a chopped shallot and saute it for 3 minutes. If you were making a mushroom sauce, you would add in mushrooms here and cook them for about 10 minutes. We'll add in 2 cloves of chopped garlic. Now, garlic is optional, but if you do use garlic, remember that it burns easily, so only cook the garlic for a minute or less. As soon as you smell the fragrance of the garlic, it is done cooking. Next, we'll deglaze the pan with sherry. This is where we get all of those bits and pieces off of the pan. Now, you can use other spirits such as port wine, brandy, white, and red wines depending on the recipe you're making. If you don't want to use an alcoholic product at all, then you could skip it and use just your stock. Turn up the heat to medium-high and bring it to a simmer. Let it reduce by half, which will take a few minutes. Next, we'll put in a cup of stock. For our pork recipe tonight, we'll use chicken stock. If you are cooking a steak, you'd use beef stock. And if you're cooking a chicken, then this chicken stock is an obvious choice. And if you're making a seafood dish like salmon or scallops or shrimp, then a vegetable stock works good. Better Than Bouillon is a great choice for stocks. They're made from real meat and vegetables, and they're not all salt like those flavored cubes. They're easy to prepare and the flavor is fantastic. Lemon juice is a great addition to any sauce. It gives the sauce a nice zing. We'll squeeze in the juice from half of a lemon and stir it in. Bring the sauce up to a simmer and let it reduce. When the liquids have reduced, add in the heavy cream and let it simmer for a few minutes. As an additional or optional item, you can add in a dollop of sour cream. Sour cream has a nice flavor of its own and it helps to thicken the sauce. Fresh herbs can be added to a sauce here. We're using fresh rosemary. For our pork tenderloin tonight, a mustard sauce is ideal. We'll add in a teaspoon of stone ground mustard and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Stir the mustard into the sauce and continue to simmer and let it reduce. The flavors of this sauce are going to be amazing. Once the sauce is reduced, turn off the heat and add in a few pieces of cold butter. This will help the sauce to thicken as well as add flavor and smoothness to the sauce. Here is where we will remove any fresh herbs that were used. You have a few options on how to serve your sauce. If you like bits and pieces of onion and garlic and other items such as mushrooms in your sauce, then you could use a spoon or a ladle to pour your sauce onto your dish. If you like your sauce smoother, then use a strainer or a fine sieve and strain the sauce into a gravy boat. As the strainer collects the bits and pieces, use a teaspoon and stir inside the strainer to get all of the sauce into the gravy boat. And now we're ready to plate our dish. Our dinnerware is provided to us by our friends at International Tableware Incorporated in Toledo, Ohio. We're serving our pork tenderloin medallions with homemade mashed potatoes with a twist. Check the links in the description for a video on how to make the cheesiest and creamiest mashed potatoes from scratch. And there it is! Savory sauce made from scratch. So much flavor and texture from a sauce. It's where the magic happens. Making a sauce from scratch is not hard, and it works with any type of meat and seafood. Elevate your cooking with a homemade savory sauce from scratch. It was delicious. Until next time, bon appetit.